everyone. Tonight, I want to talk to you about me and my experience sublimating socks on the Mac press. There are certain things that I want to talk to you about, and I want you to be successful, and I want to share what has worked for me, and at the same time, I want that to work for you. So there are several things that I have to, or we have to take into consideration when we are sublimating with a mug press. The number one thing that is really important, and this is for any sublimation item that you have, is to make sure that you have polyester. Polyester is what is going to absorb your ink and is what is going to make it stay. If you don't have high count of polyester, it's going to be really hard for our ink to stay on our garments, to stay on our clothes, to stay on our socks, to stay on whatever we're doing, because the polyester is the one that grabs it and then it stays like that. It makes it stasis, absorbs it. Polyester absorbs our ink and then it stays like that. So we have to make sure that we have high count of polyester. Me personally, I will not sublimate anything below 85% of polyester because if I don't have a high count of polyester, I already know that my results are not going to be that great. And if I am going to use sublimation, I want to make sure that I get great results, right? So if I have less than 85% of polyester in my shirts, in my socks, in my whatever garment I'm using, in my I don't know, no jeans, but that jeans is denim. But whatever item we're using to sublimate on, if I don't have high count of polyester, then I do not do sublimation. I will research and find out which one is the best besides sublimation, which method is going to be giving me the best results.
Once I am making sure, or I make sure that I have high kind of polyester on whatever I'm going to do, in this case, I want to talk to you about socks, okay? Once I make sure that I have count of polyester, I am going to look at my image, okay? If my image is too big for my socks, then I don't do it, because on your socks, don't forget, we are wearing them right on the lower part of our feet in a way, or our legs, you know, and we don't want something that is really big that is not going to be visible. At the same time, we don't want anything that is so tiny that is not visible to us or visible to whatever we want to show our socks. We want a medium design. We want something that is going to be with the size that we want our our eyes to be able to appreciate, and somebody and people's eyes that are able to appreciate it as well. So size of our image is important. In other videos, I have how to size your socks, how to make sure that our sizes are going to be appropriate for our socks, whatever size we're using. So size is very important. Another thing that I want to mention is your liner, okay? When you're sublimating socks, okay, it is very important that you have a liner. The tumbler that I use is a speaker tumbler, and you can see right there where the speaker is. Right here is the drinking part, and right here is where the speaker goes. This is the one that I use that is going to give me a sense of stretching, because when I put my socks in here, they're going to stretch. I need my sock to stretch, because if it doesn't stretch, then my image is not going to look right on my leg. It's not going to look the way I want it to look once I put it on. So you want to stretch your sock in a way that is a little bit, but not a lot. a little bit bigger than the normal size. Oh, it got stuck inside. So in this case, this one gives me 10 and a half. This white, that right here, this width is 10 and a half. So what I'm gonna do right here is I put my sock, but I have to have a liner. How often? Okay, I'm gonna talk to you about putting the sock on my tumbler in just a moment, but let's get back a little bit and talk about a liner. How often do I change my liner, and what is a liner to begin with? Okay, a liner is a piece of paper and has to be paper that is appropriate for sublimation. It cannot be just any paper that I just find, just right on my desk or something. I use butcher paper. And this is butcher paper that I wrap my tumbler around. Okay, as you can see right here, my liner is clean. Okay, it has to be clean because if my liner has a little bit of ink, then it's gonna go on the sock and it might ruin the design that I have. So I don't want that. I want to keep my liner as clean as possible. So I make sure that my image transfer from my sublimation paper transfers in a way that is nice and clean and clear. Okay, that it doesn't have any other ink or any other images that I don't want on my sock. So the liner, what I do, I just measure, okay, I just measure my speaker and I wrap it around twice. This is butcher paper. I'm gonna post the link below. That way you can see it. This is butcher paper that I use, and I removed it. And I have only the speaker tumbler right here. So the butcher paper goes around my tumbler. I'll do it twice. And how many socks do I sublimate? I do around maybe 6 pairs, depending on the design. Because if I have a pair of socks that is really colorful, like for example, let me show you, like these ones. For example, right here, as you can see, this one has a lot of colors. So it is easier for my butcher paper to get the colors in here rather than if I sublimate or if I have an image to sublimate that is a little bit more discreet, something that is more quiet, something that maybe doesn't have as many colors, or something that doesn't have as many vivid colors. Okay, so I wrap my liner around my speaker tumbler twice, and then I secure it with heat tape. I know that sometimes we say, well, heat tape is expensive. I want to be able to save. I want to be able not to use as much. But you know what? Be generous with your heat tape, especially on your liner, because you want to secure it very well. You don't want the liner to be dancing at the moment you put it, dancing or moving at the moment you put it in your Mac press. So because that's going in a way to move, and then it's going to move the sock, and then it's going to move the design. So the design is not going to look as pretty once I don't have my liner secured enough and tight enough around my tumbler in a way that is not going to move. So, so it's always important, to secure it really well. All right, so another thing that came up and I would like to talk to you about is about my image. How long, what is the length that I should use right here in order for me to have it like this? There are some other designs that, for example, you can see, like in this case, I don't have any, but there are some designs that you can see the line in here. You can see some ink crossing the line right here of the color. So what do I do? So let's talk about that, and let's try to find out a way that I'm not going to have that line in there. When we have our socks, okay, and we don't want our design to cross our line right here, okay, when in this case I have black, so it's not going to show whatever I sublimate here. But for example, if I had a lighter sock, like for example this one, and then my design is a design that covers pretty much everything, but at the same time, I don't want my design to go over. How can I avoid that? It's actually really easy. What you can do right here, you have several choices, okay? What you can do here is to measure exactly. Once you put your sock on your tumbler, on your speaker tumbler, okay, what you're gonna do is just measure. What are you gonna measure? Is you are going to measure your sock all the way to the line, this line right here. The line before you actually get the foot part, okay, the footsie. So before you get to the footsie, you measure, okay, I have from here to here. And you measure exactly in a way that you are not going to print your image bigger than this size. So that is one way. Another way is, and this is depending on your design. Another way is to, once you have it right there ready to be sublimated and you do your print, you can cut, you can have it like this. Let's suppose that this is a blank sock. So you have it like this, you measure it, or you put it around, ready for the mag press, and then you cut wherever the line is. That only works when your design is a design that probably is not going to be as affected, or is not going to look like you're cutting off feet, or you're cutting off flowers, or you're cutting off, eyes or anything like that. Like for example, this one. Okay, let me show you this one. In this case, if I had a light sock, let's just say that I had a light sock in here, and I didn't want my design to go past the purple. Let's just say that it's a light purple and I don't want my design to go over. Okay, very easy. I can do it in two ways. I can measure once I put it in my tumbler. Okay, measure that, put it in the tumbler first, and then measure, and then print it. Okay, measure my image in a way that I can print it that size. Another way is I print my image with the estimate, or kind of estimating the length of my sock in here, estimating, and then once I have it, then I can cut it. Then I can see right here, oh yeah, my paper is in here, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut right here, and that way I know exactly, so the line doesn't go over. Okay, so that is another way that you can try. All right, so now that we talked about that, I want to talk to you about why I decided to do my socks in a mag press. Okay, how can I see the difference, or what is the difference, or how, why do I think it's better? In a way, I love making my socks in a mag press. And the reason is because I do not like these lines right here. Let me show you here. Okay, you see the line right there clearly is where I had it right there. I had it ready for my heat press, and then I press it, and then I turn it, and then I did the other side and I press it. These socks are at least a year, maybe older. I want to say maybe older. And you still can see the design, you still can see the pictures, I still wear them. Okay, I still wear them and they are perfectly comfortably. They don't have any problems and they've been lasting for a long time. Like I've been wearing them often. So I did not like that line. Okay, I didn't want it in there. And I said, how can I do it in a way that I can do my 360-degree and avoid that line? Especially with this design, it's not as visible, but when you have some other designs, then you either feel that you're cutting off or you're cutting too short, or you have to make one bigger than the other, or you kind of have to play it around a little bit with your image to make sure that you have it the same. You have the same, and the line is not going to show. So then I just said, oh wow, I don't like this. What can I do? So then I thought about something that could give me the 360 degree, 360 degrees, or 360-degree conference or diameter in an order for me to be able to do my design in a way that doesn't get affected or my socks do not show the line. And that's how I came up with a mug press. It was one day that I said, I don't want the line. What can I do? So I don't know, just something occurred to me and I said, I'm just going to try it like this. And since that day, all my socks from that day until now have been done with a mug press. So again, if you have polyester, you are gonna get great results. But you have to know in a way how you're gonna do it, or you're gonna know in a way your equipment, what kind of socks you're using, because not all of them are going to work great on the mug press. These ones came out great. I wear them. They're no loose. They're just perfect for me. They don't fall. They just stay right there. And that's I've been doing the same thing over and over and over, and the socks come out the same. So we have to make sure that we know what kind of socks we are using or what kind of socks we're putting in the mug press, and also what temperature I'm going to have. I personally use a certain temperature, but if you want to start with it, and if you say, well, she's using silky socks, this is the kind of brand that I'm using. All of these and all the ones that I made have been silky socks. I don't get paid to say this or anything like that, but these are the brand of socks that I've been using, that I've been sublimating, and that I've been using since I started all this sublimation process. I personally love those socks. They're really comfy, and I wear them the whole day at work, and I come home and my socks are the same. My feet feel great, and I have not had any problems with that. So they're really comfy, they're lasting, they're durable, and they're great to sublimate because I can put any design I want and my socks come out great. So start with 35 seconds. Okay, and then if you think that you need more, then you can add a little bit. But if you start with 37, 39 seconds, chances are your socks are going to lose elasticity, because the heat, what is going to make this size transferring your ink, your sublimation ink from your paper to the sock. Besides doing that, what it's going to cause is to ruin your sock because it's going to be really loose, and we don't want that. Then you're going to have your sock like this, and this part is going to be a lot bigger, and then they're going to start falling, and those socks are not going to be good anymore. So we don't want that. We want to wear our socks in a way they're comfortable, they stay on our leg, they stay on our feet, and we're not pulling them up. We're not pulling them up at all. So we want them to stay where we want them to stay. So this brand that I'm talking about right here is Silky Socks. I also like Silky Socks too, because if if I'm gonna give them for gifts like this holiday season, I made a bunch of socks for my family, and they all had their own individual bag. So that is really nice, because once you sublimate them, you just can put them back in the bag, and they have the size right there, and you don't have to worry about how am I gonna wrap them. So what I did, I just put the socks inside, and just like that, and just put a bow, and that's all I did. And like, from me to you, and that's all I did. If I didn't want them to see because I wanted them to be a surprise or something like that, then I just wrapped them with wrapping paper. But if I didn't want them, if it was fine, then okay, just like that, put them inside, and just put a bow in it, put a bow, and just call it good, and that's it. Very easy. So I really like that. Okay, so I like it. I like this brand because, number one, the colors are great. The colors, once you sublimate them, these ones are old too. These ones are really old too. Like, I don't know, more than a year. I will say more than a year that I did them, and I've been wearing them often. These ones are newer, and I have the tutorial there right on YouTube. I can do the link, but if you just scroll down a little bit, you're gonna see the tutorial about these ones. These ones are newer, and this is the reason why I choose this brand, because it's a brand that is durable, and at the same time is tough. When I am sublimating, it's not like, it's forgiving in a way, and tough at the same time. So they stretch to my tumbler, they stretch to it, but they don't stretch that bad. That bad in a way that I cannot wear them, that I ruin them. So I start with 35 seconds, and then go from there depending on your socks. The brand that I'm talking about, the brand that works for me is this brand, and this is the one that I can talk about. I cannot talk about any other brands or any other type of socks, because I have not tried them. All I know is that this brand has worked for me great. I've been wearing the socks constantly, washing them endless times, and the image stays the same. These ones are old. Okay, these ones are older, these ones are newer. These ones are older, these ones are newer. And they stay the same. So the image doesn't wash away, it stays, and they keep their comfort at all times. So, um, so keep that in mind when you are making your choices about sublimating your socks. Okay, don't leave them on the heat press for a long time, because they're going to lose elasticity, and then they're gonna be ruined, because this part is going to be bigger, and it's gonna start falling down. So we don't want that. Another thing that I wanted to tell you is, you want to measure before you print, okay? Measure when you put your blank sock in here. Make sure that you measure your measurements in here. Don't do it when the sock is out. Don't do it here, because then you're going to say, oh, is this and is that long? The length is this, the width is this. This is not accurate, because once we put it in your speaker tumbler, this is bigger, so your measurements are going to be bigger. So let's keep that in mind too. Also, don't forget to get rid of the humidity. Don't forget to put them on your speaker tumbler. If you're gonna do the Mac press, I highly recommend it. If you want the 360, 360 view, then I highly recommend you to do that. Then don't forget to get rid of the humidity. I lost my thought for a second. Don't forget to get rid of the humidity by putting them like this, obviously with your liner, okay? But don't forget, I removed the liner, but Don't forget we have our liner nice and clean. We don't want it to sublimate like 20 socks and our liner has all colors around. So we switch it, right? Once we start seeing some little colors here and there. And let me see if I can see. So here, I'm not sure if you're able to see, but like this was about time for me to change it because I still can, I barely, but I can see now some colors in here. So this tells me that it's time for me to change my butcher paper, to change my liner. And I go around twice. So, so get rid of the humidity, do your liner, and then do your blank. So let's pretend I don't have any design yet, nothing is sublimated. I'm pretending. I put my sock. I put my sock in here. Okay, and then I take it to the mug press, 10-15 seconds, and that's all you need. And then you do your lint roller to get rid of your dust. And then your sock is going to be 100% ready to be sublimated. Okay,